Hello جميعا, hello everyone and welcome to a new session, new live session today. Today we started with a good day. Yesterday we had one loss trade with the GJ. Today we had two winning trades so far. During our Telegram channel. New session. Let's see the US Open. So that's why I tell you, every time you lose, you can call it a day and then you start again the next day as if nothing happened without any psychological yes or no about, oh, I lost, I win. Today so far on our Telegram channel, as you can see, we had the USD CAD we took yesterday, it hit takes profit, and also we had like the second order. That was bad. It was far away, just like 2 pips. We could have much more profit in this. And then the Euro USD, I prefer to close it because the market wasn't really convincing at this level. And as you can see here, it's not really. The down move is not yet really convincing. Wow, GJ, what's happening with GJ, guys? Let me check something. Is it about? Oh, wow. Oh, gold also had a big fall here. Gold. Oh. We missed this gold. Let's see the US Open. Let's see the US Open. US Open. Ahmad, you sold gold, make 60 pips, perfect. Yes, it was amazing. Actually, I didn't check gold. Now I'm checking. It was like 1740 the sell until 34. It was super perfect. It was super perfect. The sell, so clear and so clean. Yes, from morning hour ever. It's nice. That was really a nice trade. كان تريد حلوة هي صراحة. على القد بس هون ما بعرف الاسترليني GU are still in the unknown area. US 30. Many levels for the up move, many levels for the down move. Let's see which one we will break before. This is the most, let's always mark the most important for the full lot and the less important for the half lot. Okay. DJ, something happened with the yen. في شيء عم بيصير على الين، عم بيضعف الين لأنه استرليني دولار بعده محله بعد ما عالي كتير. ما بعرف إذا ديلي ويت إيه حتى على المدى القصير بلا كمان استرليني شوي عم بيعلى. But wow, DJ, what a reverse. US 30. Oh, this is the first. Anyway, we missed the first sell half lot. Let's check for the second one. If we hit 33,742, we'll be on the sell. Actually, let's see, we are still like 3 minutes from the opening of the market opening. The volatility is so low so far. So far, it's not a big volatility opening. Gold still, GJ still, EU, US 30. Hitting this level again. Let's see. We need the next level in this candle, in this 5-minute candle, in this 5-minute candle. This is what we want. Yeah. Keep moving. Keep moving. Last 10 seconds. Okay. Shadow. Now up. Up, 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 up. Okay. First sell at 4-4. 33744 half lot. My first sell, oh my god, it's too fast. Took it at 4-1. At 4-1. I clicked on 4-4, it took it at 4-1. That fast. Okay, we still have time. We are still bullish. We have a full lot waiting for us here if we reach this level. But also we'll see where this candle will close. So far, with no volatility in the market, this is a good. With no that volatility in the market, this was a good move up. So we can expect a retracement starting this level, and if it reach 33,793, it will be much better. Of course, there is no doubt in this. Let's see. GJ still moving up. Gold still retracing. GU. Okay, now the market is moving up. US 30. I will be waiting this level. Hopefully we'll reach this level. It will be an amazing selling level. Is there any level before, like something? No, let's just wait. We have 33795, 794, 795. This should be a good selling level. We still have 1 minute for this candle. And if this 1 minute keeps moving up, it will be perfect for the next minute. It will be perfect for the next minute. Let's see the 15-minute. Wow, the 15-minute candle is perfect. 15-minute candle is perfect. We need to reach these two levels. "45 seconds. Let's see. If this candle closed almost at its top, I will have another sell, half lot. We still have 30 seconds. Perfect, perfect, perfect. This is what we want. 15 seconds left. I will sell a full lot here if we stay here, full lot. I sold a full lot now. I sold a full lot now. Full lot. Perfect. Now it's hitting this level. We have this 5-minute and we end up with the 15-minute candle. So far, the 15-minute candle has a big move. Wow. Wow, 15-minute candle. I will have another full lot if we reach 33,825. There's no news. Let's just wait and see. If not this 5-minute candle, which I doubt, the next candle should be a retracement. But even I still think that we can retrace from this candle. We still have 3-minute. And the move was sharp, like 33675, almost like 105 pips, almost around this level. Let's see, we're still holding here. GU still up, GJ still up, gold working, US 30. The biggest level will be here at 33823. Two minutes 15 seconds. 2 minutes 15 seconds. This is our 15-minute candle. We should have the retracement soon. Hopefully it will move more up to 33825 and then start its retracement. 1 minute 25 seconds for this 15-minute candle to close. بعد عنا دقيقة وربع كرمال هال 15 دقيقة الكاندل إنها تسكر. بيرفكت. هلا كمان اذا بتسكر على هاي ال 15 minute candle بتكون احلى واحلى. واو بيرفكت. بيرفكت 15 minute candle. ان شاء الله ما ترد تضلها طالعة لحتى تضرب هيدا الريزيستنس فوق قبل ما ترد.
عبد الله رح ترجع تعمل سال بعد مرة؟
اسمعني بس، ما اذا عملت سيل رح اقول اني رح اعمل سيل. في حال وصلنا لهيدا الليفل فوق رح نكون عم نعمل سيل. هون ال 33820 15 minute candle بعدها بأول شو تريس. ايه شو عنا هون؟ What do we have like levels؟ اوكي. Let's keep this in mind. بلكي طلع له. اوكي يلا. Let's get ready for a new cell. It seems انه رح تطلع. يلا يلا. طالعة تقريبا حوالي 152 نقطة. which is good. Ten more pips up. Oh, perfect. My sell also. Sell full lot. And let's wait. هلا let's wait. $15 candle.
هلا all time high عندي.
Yep, all time high. جي عم بيريح، جيو عم بيريح، الجولد بعد ما نزل هالنزلة. What a 5 minute candle. هيدي كلها لازم يرجع يريحهم على القليلة 33,780 هي على القليلة. But we are still like for the first 20 minutes. Poof, 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 poof. Still here. Still nothing. New high. Higher high. Two minute and a half for this candle. 15-minute candle. Still up. We will wait. Let's see the Fibonacci extension. Where it takes us. Wow, what a 30-minute candle. 6 minutes left for the 15 and 30-minute candle. This time we will have to wait. This time we will have to wait. Okay, meanwhile, let's check GJ. It's up move and retracing from this level. Gold also retracing down. Euro retracing down. US 30. Have float to prepare for this level, just to keep our risk management. If we reach 33,884. 3 minutes left for this candle. 15-minute candle. What do we have meanwhile? Euro. Euro also stagnating all the day. That's why I closed the euro. GU. Gold. US 30. Wow, this is an amazing 5-minute move. One minute 55 seconds, and we closed 30-minute candle, 15-minute candle, and 5-minute candle. I'm selling here a half lot. Half lot. I'm selling here a half lot. And the last sell will be at 3394, and then we will wait until it reverses below. If it doesn't reverse below, before reaching 33950. These will be all our trades, and we will wait the reverse. Yesterday after the news, it didn't do like this move. Now at the opening, it does it. It did it, sorry. 25 seconds. $15-minute candle close. It opens, it went up, there is no shadow so far. It hit this resistance level. We won't sell anymore until we reach 33,945,950. There is no need for a sell. Even the 30-minute candle, which is a huge 30-minute candle, maybe the biggest one ever. Now we saw it. Wow, whoa, whoa. Exactly all this move. It's almost like all this move down. Should have a decent retracement now. والله كله وارد يا حسن. ممكن يكفي طلوع ل 33,950 ممكن يريح. هو بالأرجح كان لازم يريح من قبل 33% 25، بس ما ريح، بعده طالع طلعة واحدة. hopefully إنه تسكر هالكاندل بارش وتكمل اللي وراها نزول. يجي جولد رجع يكمل نزلته. جولد مش هين. يعني هو نحن بدنا إياه ينزل ل33,000 وهون 7 هيدا إذا بيوصل لهون we can close everything with profit. This is our main target. رح حطها تكون أوضح. This is our main target. This is the 5 minute. هو الفكرة ال 5 minute فتحها there is no shadow بعده طالع. if we reach حتى 33,800 38% بتكون good. بس let's see إذا رح يرد من هون ولا رح يرجع يكمل طلع على 33,950 بعدين. يمين gold 61.8 74%. يمين يعني you can buy from this level. شكله بعد عنده قوة للطلعة. let's see. let's see. حسينا من أولها إنه بدها ناطر القصة اليوم. Let's see. New 5-minute candle with no shadow. Now closing this level, closing below this level will be good for US30. If we were able to close below this level. Let's see. GU, still here. Euro. All what we have to do is to wait now. $1000 we have 1 2 3 4 عمليات 4 trades. close these 4 نحن بحاجة ل 33,800 33,800 almost. فادي I can check guys بدي لكم شغلة لما نكون باللايف never send me WhatsApp. I can check WhatsApp during the live. We have a delicate situation here. 15-minute close, new 15-minute. Let's see here. Three, 797. Our take profit so far should be at 33797. It hits the support now. It must break the support. But we need a break for the support. And a little bit volatility in the same direction we want, because now the volatility died. It died at the top. And this is not what we want. We want to push down, not up. Now it hit the support. Why I'm saying we need to break the support, because this is now the support. So now it hit it exactly at 33,853 and it moved up. If it breaks it down, it will be a better situation for us to start the retracement. Themes moving up, now breaking this level 33896. رح ننطر شوي على ستوب لوس هلا. هون صارت ريزيست كمان مهمة. واو، وصلت على التوب ونطرتنا منيح اليوم. لا we won't wait تيجي باول كريستوفر. إذا بده يجي باول يعني ما رح سكر لايف ستريم قبل الساعة 7. ساعتها we will hedge all and see شو رح يتحرك مع باول أب كتير ولا داون كتير، نرجع بنفكها. كيف؟ أكيد ما رح أنطر لوقت باول بعد ساعتين، لازم تكون ردت قبلها. واو شو عم بيلعب بين هالتو رينج. يلا بقى we need this break now. أول مرة بيضربها من فوق لكده، تاني مرة بيضربها على الآخر من تحت. we need to break this. let's see كمان إذا ال indicators رح يكسروا معنا or not. حتى أنا بده يريحها إن شاء الله ما يطولوا كتير.
هلا كل عندك الار اس اي يعطي على الكل تقريبا اوفر بوت يعني ديلي اند ويكلي.
إيه بس ممكن ترو، بس ممكن يضلوا. بده يقرر يكمل طلعة ممكن يضلوا شوي. ما كتير بيهمنا نطلع على الديلي لأنه ما رح نضلنا كتير فيها يعني. هلا we need هيدي البريك تبع هيدا الليفل and it will be good للنزلة. 30 41 793. هيدي إذا بيكسر هيدا السكور مفروض يكون عنده like clear traffic. مين ترافيك للتارجت تبعنا أو حتى أوطى، حتى لهون لل 33,762. هلا المشكلة بباول، يعني بدنا إياه يعملها قبل باول، ما بدنا نوصل على النيوز مثل صار معنا باسترليني دولار عليها. and so weird كيف جمت هالجمتة بعد كل هالطلعة هون. let's see. هلا لكن عم يحكي بايدن عن ending the war أو من قبل، ما وصل لشي breaking news. إيه ولا بس لفت ما عم يقدر يرد، ثقيلة شوي. first wave bank earnings. Wall Street open higher after first wave of bank earnings. Dow up 120 نقطة. خلص فهمناها هيدي. هلا نحن بدنا رد، نحن ما بدنا يقلب الترند كله. بقول له you aiming for is a small رد 70 نقطة، واللي هو بيعملها دغري لما بده الضغط. اسمها الهيئة ناوي. Okay, the last cell I have just for risk management I will close it. ماشي 7 نقط خسرانة، بيبقى عندي 3 بس. Okay, and then when we have a confirmation for the sell برجع ببيع. Just to stay with 3 trades in case we hit up to 33,945 أقدر بيع آخر واحدة من فوق. لأنه it seems منا هلا النزلة بعد عنا higher high يمكن، وهذا الهاير هاي معقول يكون بهالليفل مطرح ما حاطينه. It's breaking up. 33,900. واو، كمان ال 30 minute candle ما عندها شادو من تحت. أنا أول بتخوف. need بريك. مجبورين يكسروا لي ولا ما. let's see. new candle close now, RSI breaking, CCI breaking, percentage over breaking. We have a divergence on 5 minutes. Will it be the sign to start the down move? Hopefully. This candle will be very important. هيدي الكاندل رح بتكون مهمة على الداو، خصوصا لما ترجع تطلع تكسر الهاي. لهلا صار عنا confirmation على الداون kind of أكيد منا confirmation ثابتة أبدا، كنا أكدنا ال divergence الكبيرة أو كسر رجع النزول، بس في إشارة إنه معقولة نبلش النزلة unless رجعنا كسرنا الهاي، هيدا غير موضوع. تنشوف ال 15 minute 15 minute كمان إذا بتسكر هيك النزول بعد 3 دقايق على القليلة راد، يعني هاي الكاندل 5 minute عن جد مهمة، فيها كمان تكون reversal 15 minute عاملة rejection بتكون، بس بدنا نشوف كيف رح بتسكر بعد في 3 دقايق. هيدي الكاندل 5 minute رح بتكون مهمة بصراحة. تسكيرة ال 15 minute هلا هون إذا رجع كمل الطلعة فوق 33,895 كمان رح بتكون ثقيلة للبولش. We need a rejection. ما بعرف إذا فكرة إنه باور رح يحكي الساعة 7 عم بتجمد السوق وعم تتركه محله تقريبا بعد ما طلع. أوه أوه 5 minute candle كمان عمشوا تقيلة، 3 كاندلات حمر بكل هالطلعة 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 وهيدي 12. وش يلا طماج كانت كتير حلوة بداية النزلة. One minute left. It seems that هيدي it will close like bullish. seems بعد بده يعمل higher high، شكلنا رح نوصل ل 33,945 لأنه بلكي بنظبط بلاها. Twenty seconds left. تسكيرة ال 15 minute كتير دقيقة صراحة. تسكيرة ال 15 minute كتير دقيقة، يعني فيها تطلع تفل the shadow وتكمل طلعة ال 15 minute هيدي. وفيها تعمل شادو وتنزل، بس most probably سكرت فوق الريزيستنس most probably. ما بعرف قد ايه الضوء بيحترم هيدا الموضوع، ما كتير يعني شوفوا بيعملها، بس إنه ممكن هالمرة تكون منه. أوكي I will get a buy الهاف لوت. اشتريت هاف لوت، ستوب لوس راح يكون على اللو تبع اللي قبله، اتس سكالب تريد ضمنه. ستوب لوس على 33866. 33865. من ميلة it's a kind of risk management، ومن تاني ميلة لحتى نخفف إذا طلع، من تاني ميلة it's scalp trade up على 15 minute. بقول له هون ستوب لوس تحت هيدي، إذا رجعت نزلت ما في مشكلة. هلا إذا طلعت بيكون منيح، لأنه هون بنرجع ناخد التيك بروفيت على 33945. هيدي من المرات الدقيقة جدا. اليورو كمان منيح ظهرنا منها بروفيت. الذهب كله عم يرجع يطلع. ايه هال 2 days اوفر نيوز صراحة. ال 2 days يعني غمرونا بلطفهم بالنيوز كل شوي، امبارح واليوم اوفر نيوز. بس you can expect anything بالماركت، ونتوقع كل هول. هيك لما بفوت كتير نيوز على الماركت بصير ثقيل. إيه مثل امبارح ستاربكس، أنا بفوت كتير لأنه أوقات بيجي مش معهم، بيجي بعكسهم، بيجي مثلهم، بتجي فجأة الخبرية بتكون شوي ثقيلة. لما تكون عم تعمل سكالب سريعة يعني مع ستوب لوس سريع ما بتفرق معك كتير. بس لما بتكون you are expecting إنه هيك تاخدها شوي averaging، تتأخر معك الخبرية، يصير بدها تنطرها شوي، يصير بدها نطرة يعني. يعني حسب تسكيرة ال 15 minute بينت شوي على أب صراحة. حتى هيدي very bullish. اوكي it seems مثل ما قلنا طالعين على 33,945. هلا هو الغريب عم عمل الردة تبعنا اللي لاحظوا يعني كل هالطلعات عادة بيرجع بيردهم، رح يرجع يردها. This is not a problem، بس أنا هيك بفضل يردها شوي أسرع ضمن اللايف. جولد تريسينج، عمل شو ما فهمت، اخدوا سيل كانت أو بدك تاخدوا سيل على 61.8. هلا it's not bad. This is a resistance level، وهون عنا 74. بدك تحط ستوب لوس فوا إذا قررت تاخدها، تأمنها بستوب لوس دغري لما تعلق فيها. هون كمان it seems moving up again. So here I'll have a new buy كمان، باي جديدة مع ستوب لوس على 33,880. 33,880. هيدي الباي اللي عملتها ال 80. اوكي، بس هيدي ما رح حط لها تارجت، هول ما بحط لهم تيك بروفيت، وانطرهم تشوف وين بدهم يلفوا ويبلشوا ينزلوا، بتركهم تأحمل حساب الاكونت بالبقايا. Ahmad, I'm not taking a stop loss, I'm buying against it. So تشاري 2 بعد عنا 1، هيك بالطلعة ناخد التيك بروفيت بالطلعة إذا كمل طلعة وصل لفوق، and then بنكون الدرو داون عم بيكون خفيف كتير، عم نحمي حالنا بالطلعة. وكل باي إلى ستوب لوس. لأنه we will come to a point بده يبلش يرد، يعني عنده هالمجال كله. the best scenarios. كل شي عم بيرد إلا الضوء. يلا بقى. يلا. مين الدي اكس واي عم يقوى شوي بس بعد الضوء اليوم بعكس امبارح. الدي اكس واي ليك قد ايه هون بلش يقوى أو يعمل ريجكشن، والضوء بعد ما بلش الريجكشن تبعه. الدي اكس واي يعني الجي اس دولار اندكس. واو ده واو يلا، شو قليل يعمل هيك، يقعد يجمط هون على الريجكشن. صعب الريتريسمنت عم بتكون ليكل 15 minute candles 1 2 3 يلا، مع انه صارت ابطأ still need هيدا الموف، still need هيدا الموف. rejection صار 2 times هون which is good، يعني لازم يكمل نزلة even على 5 minute، يعني عم بيعطي higher highs lower highs هون. هلا كل شي عم بدل انه احتمال يبلش الردة هلا.
ايه
هي كل
عبد الله،
خبريته الضوء نتفة فوليوم، إذا كسر هي بوف بيسحب سحبة واحدة، بس بدها نتفة فوليوم. إيه تفضل.
ايه لا كرمال ينزل الضوء ما بدها شيء، من خلينا نسكر ونروح على البيت لحاله بينزل دغري.
هيك حاسس هو بيتحرك وقت ما بنسكر لايف نحن.
خيي بيفزع منك لانك حافظه، هيدي هي.
Let's see. All what we need كسرة واحدة بس، هي رح يعملها، بس هي الفكرة أي متى رح يعملها هالكسرة، هاي الطلعة رح بيرد نصها، بس الفكرة أي ساعة وأي متى، هيدي المشكلة.
طب عبد الله مش ريسكي مثلا هلا اذا عمل هاي الكسره يضله هاري فرد هره لانه هالقد صار في تقل عليه؟
إن شاء الله يهر هالهرة، شو بدنا نحن؟ نحن اللي بدنا إياه إنه يهر هالهرة نزول. وهي للأمانة صار وقتها، يعني تأخر أكتر مما لازم. عرفت كيف؟
ايه اوكي اوكي، لانه انا هلا بعدني واصل هلا فتحت، مشان هيك ماني كثير معك. مش عارف يعني your planning what was your planning.
أوكي. بس هي المشكلة بدنا نتفة فوليوم يكب لنا إياه نزول. ليك على كل سبورت بيعمله بيوقف، ما هو بيعرف يكسره. تمام. هلا هاي الكاندل يا بتعمل مثل هيديك تطرقنا وبتكمل طلعة، يا بتكسر اللو. إذا كسرت اللو تبع هيدا الكاندل نزلت، يعني عنده نزلة، مفروض يكمل نزلة، لأنه اوريدي بيكون كسرت هيدا السبورت. هيديك الساعة جرب تكسر هيدا السبورت ما قدر، رجع كمل طلعة. يعني دايما عم تفوق هيدي الكاندل تنشوف. سوبر يعني سوبر، مثل عم يلعب هلا تكنيكال على الفايف مينت للي ياخده هون. بصير كل شوي يضرب السبورت يطلع، يضرب السبورت يطلع مثل الدرج. والمشكلة إنه بتركه أنا ما بيكون عندي مشكل لو ما في باول على السبعة، بس ما باول هلا بيفوت بالنيوز، يعني اوريدي اكلينا منيح بالنيوز، ونيد إنه يعني عنا ساعة من هلا لساعة يكون سكرنا العمليات ماكسيموم. ليك قد ايه صعبة، مش معقول. يعني بحسسنا بصعوبتها للنزلة. This was a good rejection, this was a second rejection، وهيدي كانت lower high، يعني بلشنا high lower high lower high، يعني مبلشين منيح، بس ما عم بيقدر يكملها، عم بيوقف على هول السبورتس، كل سبورت عم ينعمل عم بيوقف عليه لأنه ما في فوليوم بشكل أساسي. هلا المشكلة إذا كسر الهاي تبع 33919 هون بيسحب لنا السحبة. اه 1 كاندل 5 minute بيشيل 5 كاندلز. يلا وين النقطة؟ بعد البوش على 33945 أوت، بس رجع كله شد. يعني لما بيريحوا البقايا أنجأ بيريح ده، ولما بيرجعوا بيشدوا بيشد معهم. اليوم شكله نهار قوته للدار. You have to wait هيدي التريح. وعنا امبارح هيك 15 minute candle مرات أنجأ عليها، رجع كمل كله بولش. امبارح بالنيوز اللي طلعت رجع ردهم بس ليك 15 minute. يعني الفكرة إنه once بلش يتسلى بيتسلى، عطلنا فترة بيرجع بيردهم، بس بياخد وقت. we have to wait for the next confirmation صراحة. يورو دولار inverted hand and shoulder بيكون reversal pattern بكعب النزل، يعني بيكون نازل الماركت بيعمل inverted head and shoulder. دي اكس واي يعني بيرجع يضعف. وسط قصة يضاوي اليوم. يعني بعد كل هيدي بقى مش معقول. يلا too much يا ليا. يلا والله أول مرة نعرف. والله زمان. المشكلة إنه على الساعة 7 لما بده يحكي باول ما فينا نتأمل إنه يكون عم يحكي كتير بوزيتيف نيجاتيف، لأنه كل الأرقام صار لها جمعة جمعتين والأخبار عم يطلعون بوزيتيف. هون بيكون عندنا مشكلة. no retracement waiting سيد الموقف. يلا نشوف أي متى نبلش. إيه ممكن إذا كسر 33,950 يكفي بعد، رح يكون ثقيل، من هيك ساعتها بنحط بايات على الكل، وخصوصي إذا ضله هيك نص ساعة مشكلة، يكون بلش باول يحكي بيعملنا أزمة. we'll need to hedge it.
يعني بعد نعمل باي بوحدة عبد الله أو كيف؟
مش هلا، لأنه الفكرة بس عنا باول، لما باول بيحكي بنتركه، ما عنا الريسك تبعنا واطي، بس المشكلة بدنا سحب طلوع زيادة. we need at some point to hedge as part of stop loss، يعني كان لحتى يعمل حركته. هلا إذا نزل بيكون أهين، لأنه بينزل بنسكر السيل، وأكترية الترند تبعه اتس اب مش داون، يعني بيرجع وقت بيكون بيطلع بنفك البقايا. كل شوي عم بيفيك إنه بده ينزل، بس ما شكله حينزل هلا. it will need some time. رح يمطر باول على الأرجح. ومن بعدها إذا طلع كتير وقت باول بيرجع بيفرض داون، من بعدها بيرد الردة، وإذا نزل كتير ساعتها بكون عم يسكر. هلا عم بيفيك لأنه في نيوز جاي، في باول بده يحكي من 7 ل8 بده يزعج الماركت باول. من هيك أمنيتي إنه بهالنص ساعة يقدر ينزل. ما بعرف قد إيه ممكن تزبط. لأنه لاحظوا قد إيه صعبة نزلته. كاندل 5 minute عمهلها، التاني سوبر عمهلها، تالتة سوبر عمهلها، بوف بيطلعون بكاندل واحدة. ما عنده بعد هيدا الفوليوم للنزلة، ما في، يعني كل النيوز مساقبة جايتنا كلها حلوة للأسف. حتى هلا من شوي حدا بعت لي عن البانكس كمان ايرنينج، طلعوا كلهم بوزيتيف، وفتح الضوء وسحب عليهم. هلا كاندل 2 3 نزول أو 2 بوف، ونشوف التالتة شبه تطلع. نشوف التالتة أو التاني شبه تطلع. بس كأنه بعده عم بيطلع، بس اسكالييه تدرج. هلا كانت قشة الفرطة تبعه. أوقات الفرطة، ما المشكلة النهار اللي بنعلق عادة بالضوء، إذا علقنا بتروح القصة لليل أو لتاني نهار الصبح تيرجع يكون رده. في مرة ما بعرف حدا كان عم يتابعنا، بعتقد أحمد، مرة صارت. من هيك عادة نفضل نخلص منه من أول. إيه يا أحمد، انترو سال، كنا سال وطلع ضلوا لتاني نهار للأوبن ترجع سكرها الفتحة. رجعنا قبله يعني سكرناهم 100%. كمان تسكيرة 15 minute إذا بيقدر يسكر هيك حمرا هون على بيكون منيح بعد 3 دقايق. يعني بعد 15 minute ما عمل هيدا الرد اللي لازم يعملها، إذا سكر مثل engulfing بيكون منيح لل 15 minute اللي وراها. بس so far بعد، لأن بطلنا نوثق بثلاثة 4 كاندلز نزول على 5 minute هلا، لأنه عم يرجع يردهم. هيدا exactly اللي كنت عم بحكي عنه. هيدا عملها exactly. كاندل 2 بوف بيرجع بيردهم كلهم بكاندل واحدة. واضحة إنه ناطرين باول هلا. good news تركوه بوزيتيف، ناطرين باول. هلا we'll have to wait. it seems هي عم نحكيهم 33,950 رح يضلوا يحور ويدور تيوصل له. البارت الأهم إنه ما يقطع كتير ويضل طالع. يورو سحبته سحبة حرزانة على اليورو. اللي منه فايت بالتو اوريدي ما يفوت فيه هلا. It's too late. هلا في نيوز. We are coming to the news. قريبا.
سوري يا عبد الله، اذا سوفر مثل ما حضرتك عم تقول مبين النيوز على الداو اتس بوزيتيف، ليش مثلا ما بفوت باي هلا،
ما هو
خاصة
هيك.
يعني بعد ما فات؟
هو هلا بس لا انتبه منه مبين، ما في شيء اكيد. نحن عم نحلل انه
ايه
مينلي حسب البوزيتيف ايرنينجز وحسب الارقام اللي طلعت هذا الاسبوع كانت بوزيتيف. هلا شو بيحكي باول بلحظتها؟ هون السؤال اذا بيحكي مثلا بالاول بيجي يقول مثلا انه ايه الوضع بوزيتيف ومكمل ورح يطلع، بس عنا مشكله ما بعرف الكوانتيتيف ايزينج الدين بلا بلا بلا، يمكن يبلشها منيحه يطلع بعدين يخربها ينزل. ما انت ما فيك تتوقع شو معقول يحكي باول.
ايه اوكي
That's
يعني
why
كله
during news I don't trade. بالعكس فبهدجهم كلهم، بعد عنا وحده بنهدجها يعني نشتري ويباي. هيك اذا سحب سحبه كبيره وانس راق السوق بنسكر البايز على ربح، نرجع بنبيع من فوق، بس بنحافظ على الدرو داون تبعنا، بنحافظ على الريسك مانجمنت تبعنا. وقتها بيرجع بينزل، او اذا نزل بسرعه بالنتيجه مطرح ما بس يخلص بالاخر بيرجع يرد اب، لانه البيج ترند الديلي وغيره عم بيكون اب لهلا على الداو. ساعتها الطلعه بتكون اهين يعني. بالحالتين بنسكر وحده من اثنين بس يتحرك صعودا او نزولا.
اوكي يا عبد الله، ثانك يو.
You're welcome.
هلا عبد الله، هلا عم شوف البوينتس المعقول يحكي عنها. عم بيقولوا انه the Fed unlikely the Fed will raise rates, highly unlikely the Fed will raise rates. عم بيقولوا
يعلي الفوائد.
ايه انه ما راح يعلي الفوائد
إيه.
وراح يقول انه في growth بالايكونومي.
ما هي يعني في ممكن يحكي عن اخبار بوزيتيف ممكن، بس بلحظتها ياما اوقات بيحكي الاخبار بوزيتيف كل العالم بتفكر رح يطلع، ببلشوا يشتروا اند ذن بوف بيترقوا سبايك نزول. يعني ذاتس واي النيوز، وقت النيوز اي دونت تريد. انا بفضل اقعد على جنب انطر شوف شو رح بيصير، لولا تاني نهار بنفك تاني نهار. فهمت قصدي؟
يس.
يعني
هلا
لعبة.
نحن بعد اي ساعة عم نتابعه،
شو؟
انه بس نسكر لايف معك نضلنا قاعدين نسكر الماركت باليو اس، انه
لا
بركي
اذا في
صار شيء
شيء،
او
لا اذا في شيء معين ببعث لكم اياه على التليجرام اكيد. بس تقريبا واضحة يعني. جمد وقف السوق هلا قبل بنص ساعة نو واي يفرط. استبعد بشكل كتير كبير قبل نص ساعة يفرط الماركت.
عبد الله،
وي
بس انا ما عملت ولا باي في، مازال مش عامل باي. احط ستوب لوز ولا؟
إذا بدك تحط ستوب لوس بدك تحطه على 33975، لأنه إذا كسر هيدي ال 33950 في عنا مشكلة. بس ساعتها ممكن يطلع فوقها ويرجع يرد، لأنه بعد ما رد الردة تبعه. بس you have to take this risk إذا بدك تحط ستوب لوس. أنا فور مي أفضل إنك تحط باي. Let's see. هيدي اليوم one of these days حسنا حالنا إنه صايبينه 100% طلع لنا نهار. واو شو حلو، يعني لك ملا موف مش بعقل ولا تريحة، يعني ستريت اب لهلا طالعة، يعني حتى 1 اور واو جاي التريحة لا محالة. بس هي الفكرة دايما عم بتلخبط الأمور قصة النيوز. يعني أنا بيرسونلي لو ما في نيوز بتركه، لو ما في هلا باول بده يحكي بتركه بينزل على مهله، بعد هيك طلعة. لو أخذ اورز ليكو هون مثلا بعد هيك طلعة كبيرة 1 اور 2 اور 3 hours 4 hours 5 hours 6 7 8 9 بوف فرط نص الطلعة. ليك أوقات بيعل بس بيرجع بينزل. it takes time، ما بدنا نحترق بقى عليه. الدولار بعده عم يضعف. أقصد دي إكس. واو خلص ستوب، خلص الماركت هيك. waiting مستر باول. have to wait مستر باول. انتوا قالوا الفات unlikely ولا most likely؟ اللي قال عن قصة الفات. Can you send الارتكل اللي عم بيقولوا فيه؟
يا عبد الله انا شفت على التليفون على CNBC اذا بتفوت.
ايه بس unlikely ولا
Powell
most؟
says it's highly unlikely the Fed will raise rates this year despite stronger economy.
ايه unlikely يعني ما شكله. أيه. اوه شو حلوة هون. عادة من هون هلا شايف لما في باول هون لازم يكون عم يعمل فرطة 100 نقطة على ليلة دوماج. يعني كتير حلو الشيب تبعه صراحة بعد كل هالطلعة. وهيدي الشيب من هون واو. اتليست لازم يعمل هيدا هيك، اتليست لازم يعملها لهون. إذا بده يرجع يكمل فيه يكمل، بس هيدي يعني ما بعرف صراحة. بس الشيء اللي لخبط لي التفكير بموضوع قصد الشيب نيوز مش أكتر. لو ما في باول اليوم ما في شيء يعني رواق. let's see. "14 minutes left for Mr. Powell to start talking."
عبد الله، إذا بدي أعمل باي يجزئهم ولا يكونوا كلهم لوت واحد؟
لا، في 3 عاملينهم اوريدي. انت شو مش عامل ولا باي؟
لا، ما هذا كتب لك إياه.
بس قصدي عامل سال
عامل سال معك.
كلهم؟
إيه.
ليه مش عامل ولا باي جايز؟ ليه بتعملوا برات؟ آه،
أو حط خلص الستوب لوز، وإذا خبصت بتكون.
هلا قبل ما يبلش باول بتحط 3 عمليات باي باي باي. انت مش 3 عمليات؟
إيه.
تحط باي باي باي، او باي اول واحدة، اذا كمل طلعة باي الثانية باي الثالثة.
أوكي تمام.
ممكن اول حكيه يفرض السوق بعدين يطلع نشوف شو رح يصير. ما هي الفكرة انه اول شيء مجمد السوق، لانه هلا السوق ما رد هالردة من ورا النيوز، ناطرين. فاهم بدي احكي؟ هيدا تاني شغلة. يعني اول حركة مش معروف شو رح بتكون. اب يمكن اول شيء اب يسحب سحبة كبيرة، يرجع ينزل، من بعدها يرجع يسحب سحب. ما يعني ما بعرف. كل شيء اكسبكتد. هيدي المشكلة بالنيوز، خصوصي لما بيحكي باول. يعني هون انا بنشتغل تكنيكال، بس وقت بتفوت النيوز بدنا نظهر نروق، تنرجع من بعدها نشوف وين رسيت الامور او وين ثبتت الامور من بعد النيوز. نرجع على اساسها. اذا كان طلع كثير وعطيانا كونفيرميشن، صار وقت الرده، ساعتها بنفك البايات وخليه يفرض. هو عم يفرض، نعمل سيل كمان بعد وحده من فوق بننزل فيها. من هيك سكرنا نحن الرابعه لحتى to be on the safe side. واذا فرض فرطه كبيره فجاه، يعني بتكون احسن، لانه بكون عنده الطلعه ساعتها. اذا يعني نرجع بنسكر السلات وقت يبلش يطلع وناخذ البال. خلينا نشوف شو رح بيصير. نشوف. وهلا يطلع يحكي ما يتحرك كمان. ما هي المشكلة بالنيوز. بس أنا الشغلة الوحيدة اللي I don't trade in during the news. لأنه usually during خصوص الحكي تبع باول، لأنه متعلق دايركتلي بالداو، في كتير احتمال تشوفه عم بشبق 50 100 نقطة 50 100 نقطة، طلوع نزول نزول طلوع نزول. مش ما بتعرف إذا بتعمل باي ولا بتعمل سيل. هيدي لازم واحد يقعد على جنب يعني. حقيقة هلا نحن عندنا ستوب لوسات على 2 الباي. رح اترك في حال ضرب ستوب لوس وفرط، بيكون منيح، بيكون عم بيشلنا من العمليات. اذا ضربهم بده يرجع يطلع، برجع باخذهم وخلص نقعد على جنب شي ساعة ساعتين 3 تكان خلص ومفعوله. بكره بتوضح الصورة اكثر. والداو سريع يعني بيتحرك، مش ما كثير نقعد عليه يعني مثل الاسترليني دولار. يعني ماكسيموم مفروض بكره بعد بكره نظهر منه. في حال يعني صارت او بكره حتى. Ten minutes left. So let's see. تنشوف. هلا هيدي كلها مش معروف، يعني هي ما في ولا وحدة لهلا بتدعي لردة. تنبلش مزبوط بردة بدنا نكسر أول سبورت، والتاني سبورت ساعتها بنقول أوف نزل الردة تبعه. هول كلهم ما فينا نعتبرهم ردات، هلا بس stagnation بالماركت. Seven minutes left. 7 دقايق بعد عنا لباول. 7 دقايق بعد عنا لباول. نشوف باول.
عبد الله بس بتذكرني بستوب لوساتك قد ايه حطيتهم اقل من
ما حاطط ستوب لوس
على الباي.
اوكي، عنا 33880 و 33865. للي أخدناه على 902 حاططها على 65، واللي أخدناه على 911 على 880.
اوكي.
باقي 5 دقائق. 5 minutes left. المشكلة باول شغلة إنه منا إنه نيوز خبرية إنه هي بتطلع رقم ويعمل عنا شي نص ساعة السوق بده يخبط. هلا الأمنية إنه التخبيطة الأولى تكون نزول، يعني أول شي يفرض فرطة كبيرة وبعدين يعمل بده إياه، بنكون نحن هيك ظهرنا ريحنا راسنا وبعدين يصطفل. يعني شي مرة هيك تجي نيوز لمصلحتنا مش بعكسنا. امبارح استرليني دولار على فكرة قشت نيوز لمصلحتنا. قام طلع استرليني، يعني الدولار كان لازم يقوى ينزل استرليني دولار، قام طلع. هذا الشيء الوحيد اللي ما بيشتغل فيه بالنيوز. fundamental never for me. يعني هيك بسمع بعرف مثلا بنتبه انه في نيوز، نبعد عن الماركت. اذا نزل كتير بسرعة بنفهم ليه اوقات، اذا طلع كتير بسرعة كمان. بس تو تريد بيز عليه ثقيل شوي. لاحظوا there is no potential. حتى هاي الكاندل 5 minute هلا بيرجع بيطلعها كلها واكثر، يعني صار شبه مش حقول واضح بس انه يعني قصته ثقيلة شوي. ايه، مش اف اكس مش اف اكس بوك بس، في عندك شو اسمه هيدا الكالندر تبع الفوركس فاكتوري. فوركس فاكتوري. باول in 3 minutes. باول in 3 minutes. الفايف مينت ما 5 minute ما خلص، بدنا نشوف فرطة. لما نشوف فرطة ما حتزبط. هلا ال 15 minutes صراحة كثير حلو شكلها بالحالة الطبيعية، يعني بالحالة الطبيعية بكون سلقان عليها لأنه عامل لو هاي لور هاي لور هاي وريجكشنات. سو ك 15 minute لازم تفرط لو ما في نيوز، بس القصة دائما برجع بقول لو ما في نيوز. تنشوف هلا لا هو عم بيحكي ما أنا عندي ستوب لوسات على السيل، في حال فرط بيكون اوريدي في سلات خليه ينزلوا، إذا ما فرط I won't risk it أكيد. هيدي دايما صرنا حافظينها، يعني بتعمل وحدة ترجع بوف تطلع، 3 ترجع تطلع، 2 ترجع تطلع. سو فار ما رح نعمل شي. طا على القليلة بلش نزلتها تكسر هيدا السبورت، بلش تضربنا ستوب لوسات واحد ورا التاني، بمعنى انه راب يعني ماشي ستوب لوس، يرجع بالسل اذا فرط فرطه الكبيرة بيكون عوضها. let's see. طاول طاول in 1 minute. مثل ما قلت لكم انه رقم، يعني اللي يبلش يحكي يبلش يتفاعل مع الماركت، مش انه دغري. سو فار على هيدا الرقم كمان رح حط لاست باي وستوب لوس 33880. سو هيك بكون صار فولي هيدج الاكونت. بدرو داون عم نحكي ثانية بس بلس almost ب 4% درو داون. يعني الريسك تبعي مثل ما بعمل عادة على الداو، ماي ريسك ماكسيموم على الداو هو 3 to 4%. هلا it's 4% درو داون بالداو. so I fully hedged هلا قبل ما يبلش يحكي تنشوف شو رح يحكي، وحطت له بس ستوب لوس، فإذا فرط نزول بياخدها، إذا كمل طلعة I'm well protected بلا take profit. يعني as if سكرت كل شيء على خسارة اليوم 4%. شفتوا؟ so بس والويت بعد منا محققة، يعني تكين شفنا شو بده ينزل which is بيكون أول نهار لإلنا. جعفر as I said بعدنا عم بقولها هلا شو بينعمل. okay as if يعني finally بعد لهلا بس ما انحسنت، بس عم بحكي انه لو سكرناهم كلهم هلا as if من 1 فاب لهلا هي اول خساره بتكون عنا على الداو على اليو اس 30. اول مره ضمن اللايف نكون عم نخسر على الداو. مش مظبوطة نضلنا 100%. so وهول كلهم هول losses it's part of the game. يعني as long مثلا عاملين already around 42% فيها 4% it's nothing. وهيدا بتصير مرة. هي عم بحكي worst case scenario، يعني إذا سكرنا كل العمليات هلا، لأنه صراحة it's very hard to trade لما ببلش الفوندامنتال يحكي. وريسك مانجمنت وايز always بالتريدات تبعكم تكون تعملوا ريسك مانجمنت. you have to accept انكم تخسروا. يعني مش يعني انه لا انه انا نو واي نخسر او عبد الله نو واي يخسر، لا انا بالعكس بخسر، في كثير مطارح نخسر. ايه امين صبنا ما صار لي يومين ثلاثه لما عم بقول 100% هيت ريت على الداو. اكلت عين، يعني اكلت طعمات حالي عين. بلش النيوز تلعب ضدنا كليا. بس ليك برجع بقول لكم it's not about هالشيء، يعني I'm just joking. You will have to lose at some point. ما في مجال انه نربح، يعني انا ما كنت مصدقها. ما في مجال انه نربح دائما، في مطارح بدنا نخسر. و this is part of the game. super normal. يعني كل يوم بروفيت، ما بالاخر توقف الخبريه الا ما شي مره بده يطلع مش بروفيت. بعدين احسن هيك بتفك عنا القصه انه خلص بطلنا 100%. انا اذا بترجعوا لي هلا the best scenario لإلي انه هلا الماركت يطلع after I fully hedged. البست سيناريو لإلي انه الماركت يسحب سحبه كبيره بعد تاني، مش هلا يفرط من هون يطلع ثقيل، يسحب سحبه كل البايز اللي نحن معنا اياهم بيصيروا ببروفيتس. لما هول بايز بيصيروا ببروفيت بنوصل على ليفل بيعطينا كونفيرميشن على الرده، على البرمه، على النزله. بنسكر الباي، يعني بدل ما نكون عم نبيع سل عاده بس بنسكر البايات، بناخذ بتزيد البالانس، بناخذ البروفيت تبع الباي and then بننزل فيه بالنزله لانه بكون عم بده رده. ماني كثير مع انه يرد من هون صراحه. سو يورو كمان عم بهدي استرليني. $15 minute candle صراحة حلوة، بتنظر ببداية النزلة. بس ما فينا على النيوز وعلى الحكي نضمن شيء. We are out for today. صرنا برات اللعبة. خليه يحكوا اللي بدهم يحكوا. نشوف وين لما نقول لايف في حدا إنه التي في بعيد عني. إيه والله الياس هيك شكلها بدها. جورج ياس دي جي بي واي مش غلط، بس انتبه هلا خلص ما بيتاخد ولا نيوز ولا تريد هلا، ولا تريد بالنسبة لإليه. we have to wait باول. خلص هلا كأنه حطينا ستوب لوس وظهرنا على almost 4%. don't look to trade هلا، بس بدي اشوف باول شو عم يحكي. هيدي بس الفكرة. حاطيننا تبع 7 ابريل مش حاطيننا تبع اليوم. بيطلع بلومبرج. بلومبرج لايف لازم يا حو. انت نشوف اذا فينا نحطها هون. One second.
These are questions which lie ahead of us, but essentially, though, I would say it this way: the first thing we do is we say that we will gradually reduce the pace of our purchases, and then when the purchases go to zero, the size of the balance sheet is constant, and when bonds mature, you reinvest them. Now, then another step, and we took this late in the day, the last cycle, was to allow bonds to start to run off. And we haven't decided whether to do that or not. We didn't then, and I don't think we now would ever actually sell bonds into the marketplace.
Okay, let me ask you a little bit about the FOMC. People probably don't really know how it works that much, but how many members are there of the FOMC?
So all 12 Reserve Bank presidents and all of the sitting governors, which is currently 6, are what we call participants in the FOMC. So it's the Federal Open Market Committee, and we meet 8 times a year. We're doing it virtually now, but I do it from this beautiful boardroom we have upstairs. So all of the governors vote at every meeting. That's the 6 of us, and then 5 of the Reserve Bank presidents vote on a rotating basis, on a 2 or 3 year cycle, depending on which district you represent. Except the New York Fed president always votes as well. So it's a little bit complicated, but the sense of it is that it's a balance between the reserve banks, which are all around the country, and the board, which is here in Washington, D.C., and is nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate.
Okay, so in the Supreme Court, when they have conferences among the members, I think the Chief Justice gives his view first, and others, according to seniority, give their views. How does it work at the FOMC? Does the chairman of the board, you, give your views first, or do others speak and then you give your views?
It really depends on the issues and what we're talking about, and you know, it's sort of up to me. The order changes. It's not an order of seniority or anything like that. People say, let's say we're going to have a go around on the economy. People will say, I'd like to go in the middle. I'd like to go at the beginning. I'd like to go at the end. And we sort of make up a list and we hand the list around. So I will sometimes go first if I really want to make a point. Often I'll go last and I'll try to sum up and then say what I think the path forward is. It really depends on the situation.
Okay, I always worry about the secrecy. So I assume that you have somebody coming in and sweeping the room where all these discussions are going to occur, or when they're being done virtually, you have the best cyber people in the world to make sure that nothing leaks out. Is that correct?
That is correct. Of course, we realize that we're a very attractive, target for hacking and cyber attacks of all kinds. And so we invest a great deal of time and money in trying to make ourselves as safe as possible. We also have very strict rules for FOMC participants and their staff for the handling of confidential materials. I would just say you never feel like you've done enough. I'm sure you feel the same way. In business, you just never feel like you've done enough. But we try very hard to be as robust against those kind of penetrations as possible.
Okay, so let me ask you about the situation with respect to a couple issues you've talked about, climate change, for example, or racial inequality. The Fed has not historically been somebody that's supposed to be focused on climate change, and you're focused on the unemployment rate, but not under the statute, whether it's minority unemployment rate or white unemployment rate. How do you assess those issues? Do you get criticized from members of Congress when you say we have to worry about, or if you do say that, climate change or its impact on the economy? How do you assess these issues that are not really in your statute, but are now important in terms of determining how the economy is moving forward?
So there are two different issues, and there are differences and similarities. So I'll talk about them in order. So but the point is, both of them we see only through the lens of our existing mandates. We haven't gotten any new mandates. So climate change, for example, the reason we're focused on climate change is that our job is to make sure that financial institutions, banks, particularly the largest ones, understand and are able to manage the significant risks that they take. And the public will expect us to do that. Climate change is just another one of those risks. And increasingly, the large banks very much realize that. If you talk to leaders of these large financial institutions, they're very focused on what climate change is going to mean for their business model over time. So it's within the scope of that mandate. In addition, we have responsibilities for the broader financial system. How will climate change affect the broader financial system and markets? And so we see it only through the lens of that existing mandate. It's similar with inequality. We have these persistent disparities, racial, gender, and other disparities in economic outcomes in our economy, and they kind of hold the economy back. We all want an economy where everyone has the ability to contribute to and benefit from the prosperity that we have in our great economy. So really, our focus is on the gaps that we face, and we call them out. We talk about them. We've tried to incorporate into our monetary policy framework the thought that maximum employment, our statutory goal, is a broad and inclusive goal. That's a reference to those issues. And also, I think we now realize that unemployment can go low for quite a long time without inflation being a problem, which will also tend to help those groups. On that, I would just stress, of course, we can't be the primary policy organization that treats either climate change or inequality. We see it through the lens of our existing mandates, but those are very much issues for elected representatives and for other parts of the government, more than they are for us.
You mentioned inflation. Let me talk about that, or ask you about inflation. The Fed for quite some time has tried to get 2% inflation, but really hasn't been able to get 2% inflation in our economy. Why do you think it's been so difficult to get inflation at 2% or higher? When I worked in the government many years ago, we had double-digit inflation. I don't think we're getting that again. But why is inflation so hard to get when we have large deficits and a lot of government spending?
So the economy has really changed since those days. That's when I was in college. And I think people generally attribute the quarter of a century of low inflation that we've had to a number of factors. One is globalization, one is spread of technology, another is demographics and an aging population. All of those tend to lead to lower inflation. So what we have, in fact, since the global financial crisis for the last decade, you've seen central banks around the world really struggle to reach a 2% goal, and in some cases, are fighting outright deflation. The reason that's a difficult thing is that reduces the scope of central banks to react to the economy when it turns down, which can lead to still weaker economic outcomes, lower interest rates, lower inflation. So you can get into a cycle, if you will, that's not a productive one. So we really want inflation to be at 2%. We want it to average 2% over time. And that means that we want to overshoot 2% after we've been through a period moderately and for some time after we've been below 2% for a while.
Well, as you know, bond traders tend to focus on every nuance of everything you say. And so they tend to sometimes exaggerate what you might have meant. But make sure I understand and everybody watching understands, if inflation were to go a little bit above 2% over the next year or so, you wouldn't regard that as a calamity. Is that fair?
So we seek, because inflation has run below 2% for some time, we seek inflation that is moderately above 2% for some time. That's our objective. Now, when you say moderately, that means moderately. We're not going to put numbers on it, but so we'd be comfortable for, indeed, we seek inflation that is moderately above 2%, and that's very well known. And so for quite some time, many people were saying, well, you'll never get above 2% because it has been very hard to get back to 2%. Now more of the discussion is on the other side, as you know.
So you are the first person in quite some time to be the chairman of the Fed who was not a PhD in economics. I think the last one might have been, well, I think Paul Volcker didn't have a PhD, but he was trained as an economist. But since that time, you've had trained economists. You've been trained as a lawyer. Is that why you are able to speak in the King's English much better than the economists who've had that job? Because you tend to speak in ways that people actually can understand. Is that a conscious effort, or you just didn't learn how to speak like an economist and therefore you're more easily understood?
So I do consciously think it's very important to speak to the interested public in a way they can understand and to avoid jargon. So every discipline has jargon, and it's a way members of that discipline speak to each other to be very precise about what they mean. But when you use it with the general public, it's just annoying, it's irritating, and it's exclusive. It feels bad. So I tried very hard to avoid using jargon. And I do think, I think if you look at surveys, you've seen these, large public and private institutions around the world are really struggling to hold the faith and support of the public. And I think for the Fed, it's terribly important that we do engage with the public proactively. We don't look at this as something we got to do. It's absolutely essential to what we do is to speak to the public and the public's elected representatives in Congress a lot, and sort of gain our democratic legitimacy through that. We need accountability. We need democratic legitimacy, and to do that, we've got to speak clearly and transparently.
I've known a number of your predecessors, and I wouldn't say they relished dealing with members of Congress. It wasn't the part of the job they liked the most. But you seem to actually, don't dislike it. You talk to a lot of members on both sides. Is that a conscious effort to talk to more members of Congress than maybe some of your predecessors? And do members of Congress tell you all the time, you should be doing this or that? And how do you respond when, you're trying to be polite to them?
It was very conscious, but part of it just was after the hard work done by, Ben Bernanke and Janet Yellen and everyone who was involved to get the economy back to a better place and get the Fed back to a better place. I thought there was an opportunity to really raise our engagement, and I have, and so I do spend a great deal of time. I actually enjoy it. I go into people's offices and I say, I want to hear what's on your mind, and I think they really do appreciate the dialogue and all that, and I appreciate it too. I feel like I learn about them, and they tend to be very interesting people, and they're interested in what we do. So it seems to work, and I'm certainly going to keep doing it.
So when I go see members of Congress from time to time, I sit in their waiting room for quite a while to get in. Do you spend more than 30 seconds in a waiting room, or that 30 seconds will be long?
It happens all the time. Sometimes you go up there and they're voting, and you sit there for an hour, and they can't go, and you go back, and it's fine. That's just part of the deal. We work for them. I mean, we're a creature of Congress. We were effectively the House Financial Services Committee and the Senate Banking Committee are the statutory oversight over this agency in our government. So I take that very seriously. We take our relationships with them seriously, and we want to understand their concerns, and we work hard at that.
Now, as you pointed out earlier, there are 6 members of the Federal Reserve. There's supposed to be 7. We haven't had 7 for quite a while. Do you recommend a 7th person to the president, or do you stay out of that? And how does the Fed operate without 7? It hasn't had 7 for a long time. Do you think it's okay to operate with 5 or 6?
It's certainly okay to operate with 5 or 6. So we were down to 3 for a while. I would say that was more like we had to go to zone defense. You know, that was very, very difficult. But with 5 or 6, we're fine, and with 7, we're fine. The way it works, though, is of course the president has the right of nomination, the Senate has the right of confirmation. We have no official role to play whatsoever. As a matter of courtesy, traditionally administrations have, after they've vetted candidates, they will, you know, perhaps send that candidate to be a governor over to meet with the Fed chair. Strictly in their discretion to do that or not, but they have often done that. And then the Fed chair, really, they're not asking you to identify people. They're saying, is this person okay? And you know, you sort of have a nice interview with them and give them your answer. So that's the way it's been traditionally, but really we have no official role, and it's completely up to the administration whether they want to do that or not.
So I don't think we've ever had a case where a chairman of the Fed later became Secretary of the Treasury, and somebody who was on the Fed board later became chairman of the Fed, like you have. And so is it a little awkward to be kind of a situation where your former, let's say, chair is now the Secretary of the Treasury, or does it make it easier because you know her so well?
It's not awkward at all. So I think, you know, I worked at Treasury and I've worked at the Fed. Secretary Yellen worked in the White House on the council. She's chair of the Council of Economic Advisors. And I think both of us understand that Fed and Treasury have different authorities and different roles, but have a long history of institutionally working together for the good of the country. And so we respect each other. We respect the lines very clearly, clear lines, stay in your lane kind of thing. And I think we'll have exactly that kind of exactly that kind of a relationship. I mean, I have no concerns about that at all.
And how do you relate to the administration? Typically, chairs of the Fed will have a regular lunch with the Secretary of Treasury. Sometimes even the President of the United States will have some regular contact. How are you relating to this administration? Do you meet with the Secretary of Treasury regularly, or people on the White House staff, or the President? How are you doing that?
So I think the way the sort of standard way it's happened has been this, that there's a weekly, it had been a breakfast or a lunch between the Secretary of the Treasury and the Fed chair, and it rotates back and forth into each building. That's now a phone call. And so that's what I've been doing with Secretary Yellen. In addition, there's been an irregular but roughly monthly lunch with the head of the National Economic Council. So there's a relationship there. You know, meetings with presidents and Fed chairs are very, very, very infrequent and not on any sort of a schedule. So I have not met with the president.
Had you met him before he was president? You must have met him at some point in his life or your life, or you really haven't met him yet?
I think I've shaken his hand, but I have not really met him and talked to him.
Okay. Let's talk about what it's like to be the chairman of the Fed. You know, one day you're a private citizen and you can go to a restaurant, you can say whatever you want, you can do, anything socially. When you're on the Fed board and then you become chairman, are you constrained in who you can socialize with, what you can say at a restaurant? If people come up to you and they innocently say, hey, what's going on? What are you working on? What are you supposed to say? I mean, so how is life as the chairman of the Fed?
So people don't come up and say inappropriate things. That's the thing, in fact, they don't come up at all. I think even people that I know are reluctant to come up, which is unfortunate because I like to talk to people, but I haven't had any situation where people have asked anything inappropriate, even sort of unknowingly, but it is a different, you have security and you have to be very careful about what you say in public places. And, it's just part of this life is the things you can do are limited, and you just have to accept that for the time that you have this job. But, it's such a great job and it's such an honor to do it. I really don't think about that.
So if you want to talk to somebody on a cell phone, you have to have I would assume, a secure cell phone and so forth and all of those things, right?
Yes. Yeah. And, in 24-hour security and all those things. So
when you are running the Fed in a pandemic, are you doing it remotely from your home? I know you're now in the Fed building now, but have you been the last year or so mostly working from home, or have you been coming into the Fed and working from there? We had a pretty significant FOMC meeting on March 15th, which I think was a Sunday. And that was the last
meeting that I did from this building, that I went home after that, and since March 15 of 2020, have mostly worked from home. And although lately I'm coming in, I find myself coming in 2, 3, 4 days a week, as a matter of fact, more than I used to. I'm not sure why that is, but that is the case. And it was, I would tell you, it was surprising how well our business and our business model were able to adapt to doing work remotely. I think many organizations had that experience. We certainly did.
So most of the Fed staff people who work at the main building of the Fed, are they coming in now more frequently, or are they still working it from home?
Almost everyone works, just about everyone works from home exclusively, or from wherever they are exclusively. Some people live elsewhere now, or they're calling in from a home someplace that isn't the one they have in the Washington area.
You're coming in more frequently because your wife is saying, finally, it's time to get out of the house and go to the office more. Is some of that, or she's happy?
There may be some of that involved. There may be some of that involved. Absolutely.
So how do you coordinate with the heads of the central banks in Europe and other countries that are important? Obviously, it's remote now, but do you find that you can still communicate with them what they're doing, and do you communicate as well what you're doing remotely?
It's a very, very important part of the job, more important than I had really understood, I think, before I started doing it. And we need to know each other. The heads of the major central banks need to know each other pretty well and meet regularly and talk. And so that's what we do in Basel, Switzerland. 6 times a year we go to Basel, and we have 2.5 days of meetings, and there's no press or anything like that. So that's what we do. Of course, we haven't done that since January of 2020. So we're doing it by telephone. And I really highly value those interactions, and I know my international colleagues do too. So we're doing it on the telephone now, and by the secure equivalent of a Zoom call. It's fine. That's what we'll keep doing for as long as we have to do it that way. I'd say it's better to be in that tower in Basel, having lunch with people, seeing people in the hall, going for walks, and there's just more time to really meet privately and talk than there is on the telephone. But I stay in touch with a good number of my international colleagues. And again, I place a high value on it. I think that is a good thing to do.
The Fed director for the area of that housing, I guess, includes Wyoming, often holds an event, I guess it's in August or July, where the major finance people come together in Jackson Hole. And that's, again, July or August. Is that going to happen this year in person, or you think it's remote again?
I think they're thinking about that right now. So that's the Kansas City Fed, and our great Kansas City president, Esther George, will be making that decision. I'm not sure where they're going to come out on that. But we will it'll be held virtually, I think, as it was last year, at least in person.
I think you said recently the biggest problem that you're worried about now is cyber attacks and so forth. Can you elaborate a little bit more why you are so worried about it, and how does the Fed protect itself? I assume you are subject to lots of people wanting to know what's going on in cyber attacks. I assume you've got great ways to prevent that, but could you give us, without telling secrets you can't tell, some of the things that you were worried about in terms of cyber and how you protect your information?
Sure. The question I was answering was really, will we see a rerun of the global financial crisis with the banks failing and all that? And, we spent 10 years, literally 10 years, strengthening the banks with much higher capital. I can't stress how much higher levels of liquidity, much better risk management, severely adverse annual stress tests. And I have to say that the banks held up to what was a pretty significant real-time stress test over the course of 2020. So that isn't the main concern I would worry about. And it really is some kind of a cyber attack. So we have a great game plan now for banks making bad loans and, housing bubbles and things like that. We've got that game plan. We've got a really strong financial system and capital markets. Cyber is it's the new frontier. And that's not a new insight. We spend a great deal of time and money, making sure that we are resilient, making sure that the banks, they spend a lot of time and money. All of these institutions are, constantly under cyber attack. And, there's within the government, tremendous resources, very, very capable resources that we work with. I wouldn't want to go much into it. You know, and historically we've run.
رح لكم بس شغلة، أنا هلا رح شيل كل الستوب لوسز لأنه هلا في فولاتيليتي كتير عالية ما بدنا يضربها ويرجع يطلع. And then we'll see شو بنعمل.
Before it's one of those things where you never feel like you've done enough. And you know.
Hey, let's talk about fintech. Since you first got into the financial world, the fintech revolution has really changed banking and financial services. How does the Fed regulate some of these new fintech companies that are really not subject under the traditional rules to your regulation? Are you worried about your inability to kind of control some of these companies that might have an enormous impact on the economy?
Yeah, I would say it this way. First of all, you know, innovation is a positive thing. It brings with it many potential benefits, greater financial inclusion, more efficiency, greater options. You know, technology can do terrific things. In the financial area, the key thing is that equal activities, the same activity should be regulated the same way, no matter where it is, what kind of business it's in. That's one thing. Another is it needs to be regulated in a way that gives consumers and users of that service the protections that they need. And so they have to understand what the risks are, what they're doing, and that sort of thing. So I think with the growth of the non-bank financial players, we have some work to do to understand and deal with those challenges. In the meantime, we have the legal authority that we have over banks, really, also over some of the payment utilities, and we'll use that. But we don't have authority over many other companies that are now very much engaged in payments business and dealing with the public. And I think Congress is looking at the question of whether there is enough there, whether the sort of regulation and supervision that they need is really there.
Related to that would be cryptocurrencies, which is not quite fintech. Maybe some people might say it is, but cryptocurrencies have blossomed, mushroomed, depending on your observation of the size of it. It's hard to know exactly how big it is. Are you worried about the impact of cryptocurrencies in terms of the impact on the economy and the ability of people to use these things for nefarious purposes?
So a couple of things. We think of them more as crypto assets because what people call cryptocurrencies, they're really vehicles for speculation. No one is using them for payments, for example, like the dollar. What they're using them for is to speculate. It's a little bit like gold. For thousands of years, human beings have given gold this special value that it doesn't have from an industrial standpoint, but nonetheless, for thousands of years, they've done that. So Bitcoin is much more like that, and the cryptocurrencies are much more like that. They're not really being actively used as payments.
Let me ask you about your own balance sheet. I didn't really follow up before. What is the size of the Fed's balance sheet at this point?
It's between $7.5 and $8 trillion total. That's it. I want to say 7.7, 7.8, something like that.
And so is that the highest it's ever been?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
And under President Trump, a legislation was passed giving you more authority to, in effect, buy securities, buy bonds. Have you used all that authority, or has it been taken away? And do you need any more authority to do anything you want to do?
So what you're talking about is the CARES Act. We still have CARES Act really gave us funding, which we needed, backstop funding to absorb any losses. We have the same authorities we've always had, but these are emergency authorities with a very high standard required for using them. It has to be unusual and exigent circumstances. Actually, what that means is it's an emergency and regular way credit intermediation has just stopped. And so that was the case for corporations and for states and municipalities, and we stepped in. We still have that authority. We wouldn't have been able to do the things that we did without Congress providing, monetary backstop, fiscal backstops to absorb the losses, because we thought we were going to make trillions of dollars worth of loans. The truth is we didn't, because when we announced the facilities, the private capital markets started working again. That's what happened. Effectively, our facilities became a backstop, and pretty much right away, corporate bond markets and the municipal bond markets began to work ultimately very well. So we actually didn't have to make very many loans. So
let me ask you about the Volcker Rule. One of your predecessors, Paul Volcker, when he retired, later was upset after the 2008 crisis about banks doing proprietary trading and private equity investing. And so what was a simple concept became a very elaborate, I think, 300 or 400 page regulation. In your view, is the Volcker Rule working the way Paul Volcker wanted it, or the way that you're happy with it? And has it been an administrative burden for the Fed to oversee this?
So it's the law of the land, and our job is not to question that, but to implement it. So we've implemented the first try at the Volcker Rule in, I think, 2013. Then we came back, I think we learned quite a bit from our first approach. It's a very challenging thing to implement. It's a simple concept that makes a lot of sense, which is if you want to do proprietary trading and sort of gamble with the house's money, don't do that in a federally insured bank. Do it in a hedge fund or wherever you want. But so that makes all the sense in the world. Actually putting that in place and distinguishing between appropriate hedging activities and underwriting activities is not so easy. So we came back with what we think was a somewhat less burdensome and clearer provision of the Volcker Rule in 2018 or 19. We think that's working okay. And that was our intention, was to be faithful to the letter and the spirit of the law, but to make it less burdensome and more efficient.
Let's talk for a moment about something you said the other day in an interview, that when you come to work sometimes you see people in tents, living in tents, homeless people living in tents. Your mandate is not to go solve that problem necessarily, but is there anything you think the Fed should be able to do or should be given more power to do to help people who are really suffering in the pandemic and related kinds of issues that hurt the people on the lower ends of the economic strata?
We're definitely not seeking any new authority, nor are we, as I mentioned earlier, we're not the agency that has the most direct authority over that. I just happen to see it though, right here on Virginia Avenue. There have often been a couple of tents where at this end of town where there's some open space, but now it's big. It's a lot of tents and it's a lot of people, and you can't miss it. You drive by and you think, and it has to be because of the pandemic. It's grown a great deal, and it really struck me it strikes me every day as I go by it. So how does that play into what the Fed does? I think we need to keep those people in mind, really. We don't have tools that deal directly with them, but those are people, many of them probably were working in February of 2020 before the pandemic hit. And I think they need to be in the room with us as we make our decisions about monetary policy. We need to be thinking that it's not just the headline in the aggregate, it's also the people who are at the margins of the economy. We just keep them in mind.
Speaking of the pandemic, as you assess the economy going
اوكي سو وقفونا اللايف ستريم، يمكن بدنا ريجستريشن او شيء. anyway اوكي نو كيسز، بعدنا محلنا بالضوء. most probably we'll leave it لبكره او لحتى نشوف شو بيصير بعد ما نخلص حكي. there's nothing big we can do now. تنشوف كيف رح يكون عم يتحرك. إذا حدا عنده أي سؤال please ask it قبل ما نوقف اللايف ستريم.
رح ترجع تحط ستوب لوسز عبد الله على الباي او لا؟
لا هلا ما رح احط ستوب لوسز. خلص we will leave it like this so far as if we put stop loss. كنا شفنا السوق كيف بده يتحرك، رح بتروح القصة لبكره.
اوكي
يعني كأنه عملنا كيف أنا بقول لكم عادة اي ريسك ماكسيموم على الداو 4%. this is the 4% صارت معنا يعني لأول مرة. أنت أول نهار تعمل تريدينج معنا، ما هيك؟
مزبوط.
كنت قلنا قبل ما كنا فتنا.
صار طاير $40.
بسيطة هينة، كله بيتعوض. اوكي يلا، فإذا سيو نكون لبكره. بضلنا أنا على التليجرام إذا في شيء كتير مهم نبعته.
اوكي
يلا سيو جايز.